Update: am I the butthole for not giving my room to my foster sister even if it'd make life easier for my mother? Hey Reddit, thanks for all the comments and suggestions on my post, I really appreciate it. We looked into it and, although many suggested it, Dee would not have been allowed to have a heater in her room at night as it is a hazard and usually she doesn't have an issue in the room until long after she's gone to bed, so it'd be pointless to heat the room up in the day. As someone here pointed out, my room has a door to the garden and allowing foster children unsupervised access out of the house is never a good idea, and I doubt the social worker would have approved. I did point out my mother's hypocrisy, as many suggested, at refusing to give up her own room, and she seemed to drop it after that. So many people had suggestions and I tried to look into all of them. One suggestion was a weighted blanket that someone described to feel like a hug, so we have bought one of those. It was the equivalent of $27, so not a bad find, but unfortunately that did not seem to help any more than the other blankets. We also gave her my old hot water bottle. It's got one of those fluffy cases that looks like a penguin, but that didn't work either, and she still didn't want to sleep in her bed at night. However, someone suggested a blanket that looks like a mermaid's tail, so we bought one, and she absolutely loves it. She's had the blanket for 2 nights now and there's been no complaints, so we're hoping that has been sorted. Also, in regard to my relationship with Dee, some people commented that I harbored resentment, and I want to make it clear I do not. I know it's not her fault. My mother makes weird decisions on her behalf and I don't blame her for being fostered. I took a commenter's advice and made a pillow fort with her, and we hung up fairy lights to try to make the room feel more like her own, and I bought her some stickers that she's now covering her headboard with, so she seems to be doing alright. I'll admit that we're not as close as my biological sisters and I, and that perhaps I could make more of an effort, but I have a lot of going on right now, and she doesn't seem to mind. Cheers again Reddit. ETA, I'm a 17-year-old guy by the way, everyone seems to think I'm a girl, haha. ETA 2, thank you all so much for the comments and awards. Web link. See, this is such a beautiful example of being caring and responsive towards others' needs while maintaining healthy boundaries for yourself. If you had given up your room, you likely would have felt frustrated and resentful, which I don't think would have helped your relationship with Dee, but I love that y'all kept trying to find something that would make Dee feel better. She's lucky to be with such a caring foster family. Original poster replies: if you had given up your room, you likely would have felt frustrated and resentful. Almost definitely, although I don't think I'd have blamed Dee as much as I'd blame my mother. Cheers mate. You seriously have had an amazingly mature attitude and perception of this entire situation. I wish you all the best in this world. Original poster replies: thank you so much. I'm just dying at her suddenly dropping the subject once it's pointed out that only her bedroom would be allowed as an alternative due to your room's outside access. Serious side-eye from me on that one. Mom needs to be more aware of who she's willing to pressure into what and understand that her behavior really is not okay if she wouldn't accept it herself. You sound like you're handling this better than she is, frankly, as you're thinking of solutions and feelings, not just fix-its that fix nothing and grow only resentment. Original poster replies: yeah, I think she was thinking of quick solutions instead of anything that would be helpful. Good job. Original poster replies: cheers mate. Proud of you, original poster. Me too. Way to handle a tough situation, you rock. Happy Cake Day. Also obligatory good job, original poster. You struck on a key point. She's at an age and emotional place where having a nook feels very safe. Here's a sheer playhouse, but most are opaque. Walmart has lots too. It's like having a permanent pillow fort. I'm assuming the pillow fort was temporary. Web link. Yep, kids have a very strong nesting instinct, as some like to call it. They're learning their place in the world, and having a physical space that is entirely their own is very important. It's one of the reasons kids are so hung up on pillow forts, box forts, and tree forts. Yup, I had a cabin bed in my room from age 7 to when I moved out at 19. It was actually there until my mom had to sell the house at 25, so I slept in it when I visited, and my room was the tiniest in the house. I loved it. I was the only one who didn't have to share, only girl, and it was such a cozy den for me for so many years. It was completely covered in fairy lights and posters. Now that I'm an adult and hopefully buying a house soon, my husband and I are looking for somewhere we can each have a den tutti of our own. I love sharing space with him, but I think that instinct never leaves you, and would also love a little cave that's just for me. I'm 40 and I still love a nest. I'm in my 40s and I love to burrow in my bed under a pile consisting of my down comforter, assorted pillows and pillow pets, a body pillow, cats, dogs, and maybe my husband and daughter. I really should have been a mole. Me, too. I always end up living almost exclusively in my bedroom and ignoring the rest of my apartment. I thought I was strange for the nesting thing. Seems it's way more common than I thought. Hey, you could try sealing around the windows in the room too, can make a huge difference in keeping in heat. Just some white silicone caulk and a caulk gun, super easy and doable. It's made a massive difference in my old butt house. This is a good idea. Also, I was sleeping for a while in a room that had old windows and the cold just came right through the glass, got some insulation sheets that goes over the glass, and they really help keep the heat in. Although with summer right around the bend it might not be necessary right now. I think original poster is actually situated in Southern Hemisphere, Australia, so we are currently in autumn, and winter is right around the bend. She replies with cheers mate, so with just that little thing I'm just getting an Aussie vibe. And depending on our states is definitely can be boiling during the daylight hours and get painfully cold at night. I'd recommend a heated/electric blanket. I sleep with one all year round, they are so cozy. Her name is Angle Aussie, which does back up the vibe. Laughing out loud, I missed that. Here I am feeling like Sherlock for deducting from language and temperatures where original poster is when the biggest clue is practically a written confession. I'm a total numpty. As an aside, I deeply appreciate finding someone else who uses the word numpty in the wild. This is a pretty good clue, I think. Now, I don't want to assume original poster's preferred pronouns, but original poster did say that they are 17M in the first post. I forgot about that as well. The original post was a while ago. I'm just going to go back to playing Guess Who instead of Cluedo. Original poster replies, "Ha ha ha, someone remembered." Exactly. Bunnings also has some window film which helps prevent heat loss at night, but yeah, an electric blanket is gold. Another alternative is even just heavy drapes will help, or extra blankets hung over the windows. Just another layer of something between the room and outside. I use this Holigme 1.8 W 33 feet weather stripping silicone door seal strip door, silicone sealing sticker adhesive for doors, suitable for windows, doors, etc., transparent. Web link. My house was built in the early 1800s and the windows haven't been replaced probably in the last 4 decades, so it's very drafty. I swear by Frost King window insulation shrink kit. Cost like $15 a box and I only need 2 boxes for all 20 windows in my house. They sell them in boxes of 3 as well for like $5. Super easy and affordable. Web link. We had these in my room before it was my room. I think we took them down because I accidentally poked a hole in one when I was 8 to 9 because it was fun to poke them and I poked it too hard one day. They were really satisfying to take down, they just kind of peeled off. Putting them up made my room the warmest room in the house, and it stayed the warmest room in the house for probably 3 to 4 years after they came down. By now, aside from the basement which is freezing, the house is pretty even temp. This is the update stories I love to read. Original poster, I love how you tried so many different things. Dee just didn't want to sleep alone. You actually made her feel safe by herself. Original poster replies, "Yeah, she seemed to just want to feel more at home in her room and the redecorating and new blankets seemed to help. Cheers, mate." I don't know if this would help, but when we got thick weighted blackout curtains for my nephew's room, it suddenly stayed like 10 degrees warmer at night. The thick fabric and the way they laid against the window sealed the room up almost as well as fixing the windows with double pane glass wood. Good to hear. If a weighted blanket didn't help, but a mermaid tail blanket did, I think it was more of her not wanting to be alone than the cold itself. Nonetheless, happy to hear you tried several options because it sounds like that paid off, and she's doing better in her own room now. We all get busy at times, but you're doing a good job of making an effort. Original poster replies, yes, we think it's more to do with her not feeling at home in the room than her actually being cold. Cheers, mate. I was thinking the same. So glad original poster took the time to figure things out for her foster sibling. Original poster replies, his. Cheers, mate. Excellent. Nice to hear things are going well. Original poster replies, cheers, mate. But what about your birthday trip? Where are you going? Original poster replies, I spoke to my aunt and uncle about it, as they usually pay for 75% of everything, and they've decided that it's best not to discuss it until we have more clarity surrounding when we can go abroad and what countries will let us fly safely first and how long Dee will be staying with us. It's not necessarily what I wanted, but it's reasonable. I want to know too. Original poster replies, I spoke to my aunt and uncle about it, as they usually pay for flights and hotels and such, and they've decided we won't discuss it before we have more clarity surrounding when we can travel internationally and how long Dee will be staying with us. It's not necessarily what I wanted, but it's reasonable. Right? This is a great result. By the way, I didn't see the original thread, but I struggle to sleep at night when it's cold due to a circulatory disorder. I also don't have room for a heater. Electric blankets. My boyfriend bought one for me and I can sleep. It's a total game changer. They're safe to leave on, although I prefer not to. I put it on to heat my bed before I get into it at night. It's so good. I consistently fall asleep comfortably now. I spent 25 years struggling before this, laughing out loud. Or an electric mattress pad. Where I am, it's the same thing. The full name is an underblanket, I think. When you leave it on before getting into bed, it heats your duvet too, so it's like being in a cocoon of warmth. It makes me so happy. The programmable kind is awesome. Turn it on a few minutes before crawling into bed, then set it to run for a while and turn off after you've fallen asleep. Original poster replies, cheers, mate, I'll look into it. Seconded on the electric blanket there, way safer than any heater and very effective. For Christmas, my mother-in-law bought me an electric throw blanket, and it's honestly one of the best things anyone has bought me, cause I can take it off the electrical cord and stick it in the washing machine, or even when I just want a blanket over me for comfort. It's so soft and cozy. I highly recommend it. Might be an option for original poster's foster sister. I like to put my electric blanket under the fitted sheet that goes on top of the mattress, makes the whole bed warm and cozy. I just realized that you are the same poster whose mom wants her to give up her room and change her grad trip, all to benefit your just arrived foster sister. I hate to say it, but your mom is trying too hard and you are coming off much more mature than she is. I know she wants Dee to feel welcomed, but she is going to alienate you. Not so sure she should be a foster mom. Could it be empty nest syndrome that is causing all of this? Mad respect to how you are handling all of this. I think at your age I would have definitely lost my cool. Thanks for the update. Sounds like you're doing good. Original poster replies, cheers, mate. Good for you, it worked out, but your mother'll definitely pull some other schemes like this one to accommodate her foster kids. Remind her sometime that you're her kid too, and forever. Original poster replies, yeah, my sister and I don't doubt it. Cheers, mate. In case this hasn't been suggested, a fuzzy underblanket makes a huge difference. Bonus points if it's a fitted winter sheet, instead. Original poster replies, cheers, mate. Just based on the fact that the mermaid blanket helped, I have a feeling her feet are getting cold at night, and that's what the problem might be. I know you have a solution but I have this problem too, and I have a heated blanket, and sometimes I wear socks. I turn on the heated blanket for about an hour before I go to sleep to warm up my bed and put my socks on to get warm, and I don't have trouble sleeping after that. Just a thought. So glad it's working out. You are a great gal to be proactive rather than sitting with resentment. Do something nice for your room too. Original poster replies, Cheers, mate. Not a gal, by the way, haha. Nice to see that some stories actually have a positive outcome, and a pretty good one at that, if I may say so. Thanks for the update. It is great that you went into problem-solving mode and helped her. What a wholesome update. Kudos to you. Good news. Original poster replies. Cheers, mate. A couple of other suggestions. From your username and the timing of the issue, I assume you're in Australia and probably the southern half. Most heat in Australian homes is lost through the windows that are rarely double glazed. You can get easy hang linings for curtains that more than double their insulation factor and make them better at darkening rooms in summer, also good for keeping the heat out in summer. If your parents own the house, they should also get the insulation and the roof checked. It's mandatory for new builds now, but in older, pre-1990s, houses it wasn't as common, and many builders used rock wool because it was easier to install, but can blow around and drift through the ceiling, leaving bare patches. If the ceiling over that room isn't insulated, it would also gain/lose a lot of heat. You can also get small electric that are extremely low risk of catching fire, about the same as a refrigerator, and do not have an exposed element. They're designed to be left on overnight and are generally thermostat controlled. Web link. The Pillow Fort and Fairy Lights had me in tears. She's lucky to have you, and I love that you were so open to suggestions and applied them until you found something that worked. Us Reddit strangers are really proud of you. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.